Good morning students. Today in Pedagogy of Biological and Physical Sciences we are going to discuss next subtopic of Unit 8, okay, that is using community resources. So here we will discuss what type of community resources are there for the use of classroom teaching. So community resources can be used in teaching learning of science either by bringing community to the class or by taking class to the community. So how you will use these community resources? Either you can take class to the community or you can bring those resources to the class. By doing anything you provide the community resources to the students. So teacher must explore opportunities for active engagement of the partners, parents and the community in the teaching learning process of biological and physical science. So here the teacher find the ways that how these community resources should bring to the class, okay, like such as parents and community members, okay, or else whatever the valuable resources are there in the community. So how well I have to use for the welfare of the students, so that should be explored by the teacher, so that in order to give these experiences to the students. So different members of the community also hold a large variety of valuable knowledge, okay. So in our community there are different type of peoples are there. They are from different professional backgrounds, okay. They different skillful persons, okay. So here different members of the community also hold a large variety of valuable knowledge. So many of these members may be willing to share their knowledge. So they want to share their knowledge if they have given opportunity to share in front of the students, okay, and their experiences also, how they are dealing with their profession or their skill with the students. And these members can be invited to school and learners can interact with them. So when they invited, they share their knowledge with the students, okay, they share their experiences. Even the students also interact with them, okay, if they have any doubts regarding any skill or any concept, they interact and they resolve those things. So teachers should remain aware of the range of community, individuals and organizations that can be accessed to provide significant learning experiences to learners. So here the teacher must know about the community, what type of professional skillful persons or other resources are residing in the community, so that how well he can use those resources to provide the students. And learners can visit their places of work also, okay. So if it is not possible to bring those resources to the school, okay, otherwise take the learners to that places so that they will get the direct experiences of those resources. So here the expertise of members varies from community to community. So see, in all the communities you do not find all the same type of expertises, okay. So there are some examples of the expertise for the community resources. The first one is electrician, okay. So here with the help of this electrician we can understand the concept of domestic wiring, short circuit, fuse, switches, elements of iron, toaster, etc. okay. So if you are teaching electricity or topics which are related to electricity, switches, circuits and all, so you can call the electrician to the school, or you can take the students to the electrician's place so that they can have the idea of these things: domestic wiring, short circuit, how this short circuit occurs, okay, what precautions we have to take whenever this occur, okay. So how this fuse is made, okay, how we can fix a fuse, switches, what type of switches are there, elements of iron, toaster, etc. Because these are the things we use in our daily life, so we must have the knowledge of things. So if these knowledge is given by this electrician, because he is a skillful person in these things, so the students get a good idea about these concepts. And carpenter, lever, inclined plane, wedge, okay, torque, etc. These all are the concept learned by the carpenter. So either you can take them to the carpenter, okay, or call him to the class. And musicians, so depending on the kind of instrument they play, string membrane, okay, or air column, so they can talk about how sound changes by changing various parameters. Okay, so whenever you are teaching the lesson of sound, okay, so you can call the musician, or you can take them to the musician's place and show the different musical instruments, how they are working, how they used to play, okay, how the vibration is created. Okay, if possible they can bring few types of instruments and demonstrate them to the class. So like that they will get the clear understanding of how sound is produced, how vibration is responsible for the production of sound. And veterinary doctors, so how to measure body temperatures of different animals, okay, features of various living beings which help them to adapt to their specific surroundings. Okay, so how they measure the body temperature, okay, what are the different features of the or adaptations of the animals for their surroundings. This we can learn from the veterinary doctors. Okay, this veterinary doctor is useful for both the biological science and physical sciences. And potters, so with the help of potters we can understand the concepts such as rotational motion, okay, centripetal force. These two concepts we can understand with the knowledge of potter. So take them to the students that place, because everything it is not possible to bring to the class. Okay, so some things you have to take to the actual place, so in order to give the reality of experiences, so you must take the student to that place. Next, veterinary doctor for biological science, a person who practice medicine for livestock. So here for biological sciences you can make the students to understand about how veterinary doctor is take care of the livestock, okay, what type of medicine he is giving to the livestock, okay, so what type of suggestions they are giving to improve the quality of livestock. Okay, what is livestock means all the living organisms, useful organisms which are useful for the welfare of the human beings, like cow, cattle, okay, sheep, goat, these all things, most of the things comes under this livestock. Then doctor, a medical practitioner who work in a hospitals, has to bring to classroom, okay, the students may interact and come to know about causes of the diseases, precautions when they injured, first aid, vitamins, and about gynecology, dermatology, etc. Okay, so here it is very important to call the doctor to the class, okay, because the children are the growing children. They must know what type of nutritious food they have to take, balanced food they have to take, okay, and according to their age level and class level, what is their height should be, their weight should be, okay, these all parameters will be explained well by the doctor, because they are into the profession, so they know very well about these things. And they also give important suggestions and hints to the students that how to maintain their good health, including the proper physical health as well as mental health, and what type of diet they have to follow, okay, in order to grow healthier. And you can also call the dentist, okay, because in that age the children are they eat very much these candies, chocolates and all. So if you call the dentist, he also gives some preventive measures how to take care of their teeth, such as how to take care of our teeth from formation of plaque, okay, so which is form on the teeth, okay, and how to take care of teeth from the cavities. So such type of things will be given, important things, information given by the dentist, so that the students can take care of their teeth. And dermatology also, because the children used to play in the ground, in the soil, in the water and muddy areas, so dermatology is also helpful for them to how to take care of their skin, and how to take care of themselves from the different communicable diseases, okay, which are easily spreads among the students and other group of members. So this knowledge should be known by the students. So it's better if we call the doctor, dentist and dermatologist to the class, so that they can share the knowledge to the students. This is like direct experiences. So when you call a doctor to the class, they feel some variety should be there to the students, okay, because everything if the teacher is only explaining to the students, so they feel monotonous. So if you do some changes or variety for them, like calling the doctor, dentist or dermatologist to the students, so they listen to them very carefully, because they are the guests, so their presence attract the students interest. So you have to do such activities frequently. And farmer, a person engaged in agriculture, raising living organisms for food or raw material. So call farmer also, because we have most of the agricultural topics in the biological science, so that they will get an idea of what type of agricultural operations the farmer is following, okay, starting from the sowing of seed to harvesting of the crop. He will explain, okay, and they otherwise take them to the place of the farmer's place or the agricultural land. They will see the implements of agriculture, okay, like plow, spade, okay, so that they will get an idea of how these practices will be take place. Then professors, an eminent resource person, children or students may interact with them and came to know how plants are growing, okay, what are the precautions have been taken to get good and large amount of crop. They may discuss about various crops and pesticides, yielding of a crop, traditional crops, commercial crops, traditional and hybrid methods, etc. So if you call a professor who is well versed in the science, okay, not only biological science, physics, chemistry, any professor if you call, they will give the related knowledge to them, okay, not only the textbook knowledge, they will give all advanced information also, like what is the present research is going on this topic also, they will update the students. Next, taking class to the community, field visit. So here in many classes, learners can be taken to the community resources of learning, okay, field trip also we can say sometime. This is for learning purpose. So when organized from the point of view of enrichment of teaching learning experiences, it is a field visit. So if your main intention is for teaching learning experiences, so this makes learning realistic, means they learn in the real context and real situation. I told you, for example, if you take them to the agricultural farm, okay, where the agricultural practices are going on, so it is a realistic for them, okay, not only like that, like take them to any factory, okay, the detergent factory, any soap manufacturing factory, or any factory to them according to their science topic. It is a field trip for them. So concrete, so this is this gives realistic experiences. Concrete, it means basic ideas it will give, because they can understand from basic concept of the idea, and interesting also it is, because they are involving in those activities. And learners get opportunity to discover the concept and their connection with their environment. So here they will get the opportunity to discover the concept and their connection with the environment, because see, and they feel that whatever subject matter we are studying, these all occur in our environment, this is not separate. Most of the people, why they fear because of this science subject, means they unable to relate with the environment and textbook. Most of the students, they think that science is something which is occur in space, it is beyond of our senses. So because they are unable to correlate the science with the daily life activity, they lose their interest and they feel and they hard difficult to study the science concepts. So if you conduct such field trips here, you can bring the textbook to the environment, you can bring the concepts to the daily routine, so that they can relate it to the environment. So they can use this opportunity to learn various skills in interacting with the physical world, materials, technology, and other people. So if they come across with these field trips, so they can interact with this physical world, materials, technology, and other people. So it helps students to create knowledge by figuring out the components of objects, events, people, and concepts. So they figure out easily that what are the different objects they are seeing, they manipulate, they arrange, okay, they analyze those things, and the events, people, and concepts, everything they understand clearly, because they are exposing it and they are getting a hands-on experience here, also called as direct purposeful experiences. So various advantages of field visits, okay, in teaching learning of science here acknowledges the authenticity of community knowledge. So they acknowledge the authenticity means really whatever products, whatever concepts we are studying in the textbooks, same this is from the community only. For example, they study about the different the rotatory motion of the things. Okay, so when they go to the potter, they see that same principle it is working, so they try to relate, and they give authenticity to the community knowledge, and brings the awareness that science is all around us and not just in a book. They try to relate the science concepts with the surroundings, and they get the awareness that science is all around us, not in just books, and develops skills in science processes like observation, collection, classification, and analysis of data. So they develop these skills, and enriches general knowledge of students. It also enriches the general knowledge of the students. It supplements the classroom learning. Okay, it's because when they expose to the community, they know about the different aspects of the community, as well as they are learning the concept also, and gives the students new ideas and vision for taking up projects. So they involve interestingly for undertaking the projects, and helps in broadening the outlook, depends insight, and widens vision of the students. So here they become broad-minded students, open-minded students because of these activities, and helps providing in first-hand experiences. Okay, so here they are involving in the realistic concept, okay, how the process is going on or how the activity is taking place. So it is a first-hand experience to the students, which is not possible within the four walls of the classroom. So you cannot give these direct experiences in the classroom. Okay, you can just give the passive experiences to them, but if you take them to the field visit, they will get the active experiences. And helps the students to develop inquiry attitude towards the environment. Means here they think that all the things whatever we are studying in the textbooks are existing in the environment. So they develop inquiry attitude, means they develop curiosity and finding out the different concepts, okay, which they are studying in the textbook, they start finding in the environment. And helps to deepen understanding, means deeper understanding of the concepts, and brings clarity in the subject. So of course if they are involving actively, so it clarifies about the concepts, and it provides deeper understanding of the concept, and it also helps in concretizing the abstract ideas. For example, in the class if you teach the concept theoretically, okay, so that is become as an abstract concept, it's very complex to the students. When you take them to the field visits and you shown the same concept in the realistic way, so that become as a concrete basic ideas they can connect, and they can understand the abstract concepts. So the difficult things become easier when you expose them to the reality. And relays the community to the learners, okay, teachers and school, and encourages sharing of responsibility of child's learning with the community. Okay, so if you bring the children to the community members also feel that this is our responsibility to teach the students, okay, about the various concepts, and community also starts sharing the different knowledge to the students. Then organizing of the field visits. So here how do you organize the field visits? What are the necessary actions or steps you have to take in order to organize the field visit? The first one is planning. Okay, how to plan the plan for a field visit? So here the entire planning can be done by students under the guidance of a teacher. So first a guide sheet can be prepared, okay, so that here the teacher can guide the students how we are going, what we are doing, and everything should be there in that guide sheet. And it should have learning details, physical details, and administrative details. So what are these learning detail, physical details, and administrative details? Okay, it consists in the guiding sheet. So what is learning details? Consist of sites to be visited. So here learning details consist of sites to be visited, data to be collected, list of questions to be asked to the persons working at the site, and any process which is to be studied, etc. So these all comes under learning details, means what they are going to learn under this field visit comes under learning details. Then physical details, route to be taken means in which way they are going, time, schedule, personal equipments, provisions for refreshments, meals, first aid box, materials to be carried such as umbrella, camera, etc. So these all comes under physical resources or physical details. In order to achieve the learning details, we must require these physical details. And administrative details, teacher needs to give details, okay, to the administrative officer in the school or organization, that purpose and outcome of the trip. Means what is the need to conduct this field trip, okay, what is the outcome of the field trip, means after the field trip what the students are able to do, okay, of the trip, for getting permission from the administration of the school for the field trip. Then the checklist of a planned field trip here, okay. So see the checklist here. Objectives of the field trip means aims and goals, why we are conducting, what are the outcomes of this field trip. Then date of the field trip, when you are going, time of departure, when exactly you are leaving, date and time of return, when you are coming back, if you are coming on the same day or some other day you are coming, if it is for 2 to 3 days or 2 days, more than 1 day, then time and date also require. And name of the supervisors accompanying students, okay, how many supervisors or teachers are accompanying students, their names also should be given. And rules of conduct for students, so what are the rules for the students should be given in the list at the field trip area. And materials students need to bring for the trip, such as water bottle, umbrella, field diaries to note down the recordings, etc. And cost of the trip, okay, how much cost does it take, so that also you have to mention. And permission from the parents, okay, so there will be one slip given to the student, that is called as consent slip, okay. On that slip all the information regarding field trip, field visit, day, date, time, schedule, place, everything will be, purpose also, everything will be mentioned on the consent slip. At the below the agreement parent signature will be there, okay. So that if the parents sign and send back with the students, means it is they are agreeing to it, and that consent slip will be kept as safe in the records of the administration, so that in future if it is necessary they will review that consent slip. Then the transport facility should also be planned in advance, means how we are going according to the students, okay, how many buses we need to transport services we need to accommodate. Prior to student field visit, the place to be visited should be seen by the teacher and a student representative, okay. So before taking all the student to that particular field place, okay, the teacher as well as the student representative must visit that place in order to plan properly. Then they should find out whether learning objectives would be achieved or not. So they will see whatever we want to learn by visiting this place, whether it is possible or not, everything they will see. Then the main aim of the visit should be provided learning experiences, okay. The main aim of this visit is providing learning experiences. Pleasure should be the second aim, okay. So first aim is providing learning experiences, second aim is pleasure, means enjoyment. Of course when they are going to the field trip, they enjoy the learning situation. Then the objectives of the visit should be clear to all learners in order to optimize learning, okay. So before going to the field trip, the teacher has to take one class, in that he has to explain everything, that why we are going there, for what purpose we are going there, okay, what we want to study, what are the objectives of our trip, okay, what you have to record over there, what you have to observe over there, everything the teacher should be describe to the students, the objectives of the field trip. Then teacher should plan follow-up activities in order to make learning experiences a fruitful one. So after coming back from the field visit, students can discuss their observations and experiences, ask questions and share photographs. So here follow-up activities means after the field trip they have to discuss what they have learned over there, okay, whether they have achieved the learning objectives, whether they have collected the proper information what they intended to, whether they have take the evidences such as photographs, signatures, okay, testimonials from the members of that particular place. These all things should be discussed after coming from the field trip, and the data should be analyzed, and conclusions and generalization should be drawn from the discussions. And teacher needs to encourage students to submit the report and mention, okay, teacher should ask that to students to submit a report, okay, make a project work on it, that what they have observed, okay, either it is the same topic for all the students or group wise topics was divided. If the area of study is very lengthy or broad, groups can also be divided. So explicitly what they learned from the visit, and they also explain and give presentation that what they have studied in the field trip explicitly. And evaluation of the field visit can be done in the light of the planned activities. So here at the end, teacher evaluate whether all the learning outcomes has achieved or not, okay, by analyzing the planned activities. And the resources maintained by the community can provide great learning experiences for students. Okay, so he can provide great learning experiences to the students. These resources, if tapped properly, can help us in moving from science as an interpretation of visual and auditory symbols to science as an experience. Okay, if you use these community experiences effectively, what happen, the science teaching or learning can move from only just from the textbook centered or classroom centered to a experience centered, because here we are teaching with the help of experiences, not with the help of these textbooks or materials. So that is the main intention of this community resources. So these community resources vary from place to place. So here this is about the community resources. So the teacher must have the knowledge of these community resources and provide the students by bringing them into the class, or otherwise take them into the class. Okay, if necessary, plan the field trip and give the knowledge of the visited area to the students, and ask the students to share that knowledge in the form of discussions, reports and projects. Okay, thank you.